Hey folks, welcome back to the Coal Iron Collaborative series of videos we are doing here on the official Coal Iron Works YouTube page. My name is David Delagardelle. I'm the owner and founder of Cedar Lore Forge, and I'm blessed and thankful to be the marketing strategist here at Coal Iron Works. And today I'm super stoked to have my good friends, patron allies, collaborators of mine that I've known for now a couple years. I met you guys at Blade Show, 2 years ago? This is Mark and Dale Winburn of Winburn Steel. Thank you guys for coming out. Describe a bit about where you guys are from, how you got into bladesmithing, and what Winburn Steel is.
Well, we're out of Culpeper, Virginia, so about a 9-hour drive getting here. So it's a lot of fun. And Winburn Steel started probably 8 or 10 years ago, about 8 years ago, I guess, more as a hobby business for me. It's a business to help pay for my hobby, in a sense. A few years ago, Dale got involved, and we made a couple small knives.
He just asked if I wanted to try making a knife with him, and I made one and got hooked and just kept doing it.
It's awesome. And you got a father-son team that should be added and clarified, which I love. As a father myself, I dream of the day I can invite my son out here and teach him. So you guys inspire me in that regard. But tell me about the work you guys do, and you guys take a lot of commissions, right?
Yeah, mainly the work that I do is commissions, where I'll take an order from a customer, and they'll basically tell me of an idea that they have, send me some photos of what they have in mind, and then we'll go back and forth on me drawing up some designs and them saying change this, change that, and then we'll agree on a final design, and then throughout the whole process we'll be sending them kind of updates of what we're doing. So it's a very collaborative process with the customer.
Well, you guys do beautiful work, and today you will be forging a new commission. You want to describe that a bit before we dive into the design aspects?
So basically, a very good customer of ours, a repeat customer, has made an order for a Scottish basket hilt sword and a matching dagger to go, or matching dirk to go with it. So we figured we'd work on the dirk aspect of it, so we can get the majority of it done by the end of it. So it's a pattern weld blade. I basically brought a finished billet of Damascus that we're going to work from. That's 144 layers, and we'll basically get the sword forged out today and hopefully ground. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll get some of the handle work done. But one thing we've also done is to kind of show the process that went into making the Damascus. I've brought just another basically package of steel that's unwelded, and we'll go ahead and get that started so we can show what that looks like.
Perfect. And we are also going to be doing the ladder pattern on these, correct?
Yes.
Is what you guys are doing at?
Yeah. We're really excited to try out Coal Iron Works ladder dies. So we wanted to give that a try when we were here.
Awesome. I'm super stoked for it. So yeah, this will be a nice featurette of how our ladder dies can be used on pattern welded steel. You guys have a 16-ton press of ours, correct?
16-ton, yeah.
Absolutely. So we got both a 25 and a 16-ton out here, but I think today we'll primarily be using the 25 to get some speedy, efficient work done. I'm super stoked. The design looks beautiful. So before we fire up the forge, let's go over to the chalkboard. You guys can kind of break down what the game plan is for the steel, and we can look at that beautiful sketchbook of your designs. And we'll get to work from there. So thanks for watching. Let's get to work.
Awesome. Let's go. Yeah, so we got an order from one of our repeat customers who is looking for a Scottish basket hilt sword. We're trying to get something that has some matching elements to it, so like the patterns here. Dale came up with the design, so I'm going to let him walk you through that design.
So with Dirks, this is a pretty standard pattern on the handle. This is kind of a basket weave pattern going up the wood. This is basically a brass pommel and a brass guard up here, and then the carving will go into the actual brass guard. But I wanted to kind of mimic this basket weave pattern in the actual basket guard of the sword.
It won't be 100% traditional because it is going to be Damascus, so he wants a little bit of creativity in it, so we don't have to stay 100% accurate with the time.
So before I came here, I made this billet of Damascus right here, which is 144 layers. It started out as 18 layers of 1084 and 15 and 20 with 3 different thicknesses of each of them, and then it was cut and stacked 3 times to end up with 144 layers. So this is going to be the steel for the dirk, probably more than I need, but I always like to forge more Damascus than I need so that I don't have too small of a billet at the end of the day. And we're also, just to kind of show the process that we needed to get to this, we are going to forge up another billet of Damascus. This one's slightly bigger, but this is the same number of layers, the same type of steel and thicknesses of steel, just to show the process that we had to go through to get to that first billet. All right, so the steel should be about hot enough now. It's kind of an orange color, which is what we're looking for. So my plan is right now I'm going to take the steel out, take it over to this 25-ton press with these large flat dies. I should be able to get it all pressed in just one go. And then once it's out of the press, I'm going to bring it back over here, put some more borax on it, flex it up, and then stick it back in the forge.
Salt Bay energy happening there. You know Salt Bay? The guy who's like that.
All right, so I got a nice set on the weld, so I'm going to go ahead and wire brush it off and then just go in little by little so I can start getting a deeper press on it. All right, so I've got it forge welded and gotten down to the size that I want it before cutting and stacking. So what I'm going to do now is make sure it's perfectly flat, so that when I cut and stack it and mill across it, it'll there won't be any loss, extra loss of steel. So I'm going to put the large dies back on there, take it in from the side, and get it nice and flat.
Okay, so we're going to switch over. Dale's been working pretty hard this morning. Dale got this drawn out to about 28 inches. We cut it in 5 pieces. We took it over to the milling machine, cleaned all the sides up real well, got it welded up, and now we're going to stick it back in the forge and draw it back out again.
All right, so now that we've kind of walked through how to get to this point, this is the 144 layer billet that I already had. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting this work down to make the blade of the Dirk. So I'm basically going to work it down to close to the thickness that I'm going to need, and then I'm going to start using the ladder pattern dies and work the pattern into the steel. All right, so now that I have this kind of down to a good thickness to start patterning the steel with, I'm going to go ahead and use Cole's new ladder dies. So I want to talk about these a little bit because I think they are awesome. This is Cole Ironworks' new and improved ladder Damascus dies. This is their old set of dies, and as you can see, the new pattern has a tighter ladder pattern, gives you a little bit of a tighter pattern on the steel itself, and also requires less grinding of the steel at the end of the day. Obviously, if you have these old ladders, they're still great. They still give you a great ladder pattern, and are perfectly usable as well. So with ladder pattern dies, a lot of you that have made ladder pattern Damascus in the past, you're probably used to grinding in your ladder pattern and then forging flat. This is kind of the opposite approach, where you're basically taking a flat piece of steel, you're pressing the ladder into it, and from there you kind of have 2 options. You can then grind it flat, kind of the opposite of the previous approach, or you can press it flat and get a slightly different pattern at the end of the day. If you grind it flat after pressing the ladder in, then you'll get your typical ladder pattern where you kind of have lines going up and down the steel in that ladder pattern that most people are familiar with. If you press it flat after pressing in the ladder, then you're going to get more of a kind of wavy pattern, kind of a water-like pattern that's a little bit more natural feeling. So it's really up to what you prefer, what your customer might prefer, and you can do what you want with it from there. My plan is to press it in and then press it flat without doing any grinding. I'm looking for more of that natural kind of water flowy feel to my pattern Damascus. So let's go ahead and do it. so here is the laddered out steel. I basically tried to get it to where it almost looks like an S going all the way down the steel as far as the thickness or the depth of the ladder patterning. So like I was saying before, from this point you could grind this flat. If you started with your steel stick thick enough, you could grind this flat and then have that kind of typical ladder pattern that a lot of people are used to. I'm going to press it flat from here and get that kind of wavy pattern that I was talking about.